Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you learn how to quit that JOB, that just over broke job, by investing in real estate so you never ever have to work a job again. Today, I'm super pumped to bring on some fantastic investors that are going in from long-term buy and hold properties that are long-term tenants, 1 year and above, and also gets into short-term rental properties, and it's going to show you how you can do it as well. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here's your host, Dustin Heiner.
Hey, what's going on? Super glad and blessed as always to have you here on the show with me. Now, there is so much going on right now in the world. I mean, we literally have trains crashing all over the place, when you have like chicken farms where they produce eggs literally burning down, and you have inflation going sky high, literally 10% year over year, it seems like, which if you count 2 or 3 years now, it's like 20 or 30% above. You have interest rates going up. You have wars and lots of money, billions of dollars giving to other countries. Like, you have so much stuff going on, and the stock market getting crazy, crashing, it seems like, going up and then crashing. Like, it's getting so volatile. On top of that, recently, we're seeing banks literally go under. The Silicon Valley Bank, that went under, and it's got shuttered. In fact, there's another bank, Signature Bank, I think. I can't remember the exact ticker symbol, SBNY or something like that. SYBN, something like that. But anyway, Signature Bank just went under, or the regulatory system, the government came in and closed them down on Sunday, just like literally 2 days ago. And with that, we're seeing other banks that are also getting really, it's getting bad. And man, I gotta say that you guys have been listening to this week in and week out, every single show where I'm talking about investing in real estate, but I'm also encouraging you and telling you what I'm currently seeing and what I have seen in the past. See, you guys remember, but I started investing back in 2006, before the crash of 2008, went through all that and still made money, $250 a month in passive income every single month. And I want to talk about like what's going on and how that is so very eerily similar to back in 2006 of what's going on right now. In 2008, everything crashed. But before that, people were saying for like 2 years, in 2006, when I first started investing, I had so many people, you heard all these gurus and everybody saying, you better buy now. Well, you're never going to invest. In fact, realtors, they were saying that exact same thing. You better buy your primary residence now, or you will never be able to buy because the price is going to be so high forever. Well, I bought into that. And my first house that I bought in to live in, I had to short sale because it was literally like half as much as what it was worth. And I didn't have the money to, I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. Fast forward now, back in 2020, they were all saying, you better invest now, or you better buy now, or you never will. And honestly, because I've been an investor, I've seen so much now since 2006, I knew that this is the wrong time to buy, like primary residence. Now, investing, totally different story. My students, we've been buying properties every single year, multiple properties over and over again. In fact, the students that I'm bringing on today, they started working with me back in 2020, 2021, and have been investing, and now they're doing really, really well. And all my students, we buy good deals. And these good deals are out there. We just have a little harder time to work. But now, actually, next week, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold off for this. Next week, I'm going to be talking about all these bank failures, what that's looking like in the economy, what that's going to do to the entire real estate market, and how, and you guys have been hearing me say this for a very, very long time. In fact, that's why I think you should come to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference to learn even more ways to invest in real estate, or how to invest better, get around the right people, get contacts, get the right companies to work with you, networking and all that sort of stuff. Because right now, we're actually entering the very best time ever to invest in real estate. I think it's even going to be better than 2010. 2010, I didn't have enough money to buy as many properties as I could. I just was buying as many as I could. Eventually, I had enough properties to quit my job. Now, what I'm looking at right now, it's seeming like the world is going crazy. If you remember back in 2006, the world went crazy. 2001, like with the dot-com crash, the world was crazy. We weren't alive, but if you think back to the Great Recession, where there was the stock market crash, I think it was like was it Black Tuesday, Red Tuesday? I don't know, whatever. I can't remember the name of it. But on Tuesday, back in like the 20s, the stock market literally plummeted and people were devastated. People were hurt. Now, this time around, it could happen again. That's why I love real estate. Real estate moves very, very slow. The stock market in one day can literally drop. But here's another interesting thing. I literally heard that the government is now going to be bailing out these banks. They're going to say, oh, you're too big to fail. Like, now, how about my company? Is my company too big to fail? It should be. I want money. Like, they're just giving out money, which is exacerbating or making the problem even worse. If you imagine a problem and then putting a Band-Aid on it and then hoping it doesn't, or that it goes away, that it doesn't get worse, that's literally what they're doing. They're prolonging everything that happened. I'm kind of getting into next week's episode. But next week's episode, I'm going to be talking all about how 2006, 7, and 8 was a crash. Then with 8, they started printing money. They started printing money, and that just slapped a huge Band-Aid and another Band-Aid and another Band-Aid over this. It's basically a dam that's being ready to burst, and they just got Band-Aids everywhere. And this is what they're doing all over again. They didn't learn from the beginning. Like I'm going to say our government doesn't do anything very well. And that's just my opinion because I've worked in the government and I see what they're doing. And in fact, things keep getting worse. So things are going to actually be making it better for us as investors. If you're not investing now, if you don't have your business built, because you always hear me say, build the business first. If you don't have your business already ready, if you haven't been saving for investing, if you haven't already got your contacts or even have your first property, you might get left behind in this greatest time ever to invest in real estate because this is what's going to happen. I'm going into the next week's episode, but this is what's going to happen. Everybody, when I say everybody, people who are not ready like us, everybody else, they're going to be screaming, the economy's horrible, the world's going bad, this is all bad, this is all bad. And sadly, it's going to be really bad for a lot of people. Not for us. Not for us. We're actually going to be doing so much better. In fact, when the most money was made in the last, the history, like I say, 100 years, it was back in the Great Depression. The people that had money were buying up all the real estate. And this is what I want you to be ready for. I don't want you to have to lose your property. I want you to be ready for this. And I've been saying this for like 2 years. Hey, it's coming. The best time ever is going to be coming. You need to be ready. Same thing. We don't know if it's tomorrow. We don't know if it's a year from now, but it is coming. You need to start learning, start implementing, start building your business and buying your property. It'd be like surfing. When you surf, you're trying to catch a wave. Well, you start paddling. The right way to do is paddle before the wave gets to you so you get momentum, and then you catch that wave, and that wave catches you all the way and takes you all the way into the shore. And what you don't want to do is start paddling after the wave passes you. It'd be like trying to learn how to invest after it's the best time ever to invest in real estate. You're trying to play catch up. Well, you won't catch that wave if you're surfing. And in real estate investing, you're going to be missing the best part. So start learning now. Come to Rubicon, get my free investing course. I just literally would have given that away. But come to Rubicon, get your pass, 10% off. Use the promo code podcast. Just like it sounds, use the promo code podcast. Go to Rubicon.com. Link will be in the description. Get your ticket, and you absolutely need to be here. This is going to be your way to learn how to invest in real estate. Not just learn, to grow. Let's say you're already doing single-family homes. Let's move into storage units. Let's move into multifamily. Let's move into land investing. Let's move into Airbnb. We're going to be doing so many types of investing, 40 plus other investors like myself, coaches and expert investors. We're going to be there showing you how to do it. Okay, now that's a lot of what I'm going to be talking about next week. Make sure you tune in next week as I talk about the economy and what's going to happen with all these banks failing, inflation and interest rates rising and all that good stuff. So definitely tune in next week to that. But today I'm super pumped. I'm bringing on some fantastic investors. A married couple down in Southern California. They started investing in Ohio. They now have Airbnbs. They have long-term properties as well. They're doing fantastic. And they're going to be at Rubicon. You need to be here at Rubicon to hang out with them and myself and everybody else. It's going to be amazing. So let's jump into today's show where I'm going to be interviewing Sean and Roberta Fontaine, and they're going to show us how they and how in turn you can invest in real estate. All right, here we go. Sean, Roberta, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Man, this is so great to have you guys on. Now, we've been working together. I've been coaching you for a little over a year. Actually, no, it's probably been about a year and a half now. And seeing you guys from when you first started, and then also, Sean, you being a little leery on like, do I really want to do this, to where you are now. I mean,
Right.
I'm seeing you guys are being so just really encouraging to me because, people that are normal, regular, everyday people like us, it's so much fun when we are, little people get to buy real estate and get to be able to, hopefully change our lives. So tell us a little about you guys and what really got you guys started and wanting to invest in real estate.
You want to go? You want me to go?
You go.
Well, I wasn't initially trying to get into real estate. That was something I thought that was foreign to me. I was like, this is something that only people with lots of money do, bankers, investors, and nothing that, a 9-to-5 guy can do. So that was like the furthest thing from my mind. So to kind of backtrack a little bit, let's go into 2020 pandemic. My father had just passed away, and we were at that time living in an apartment, paycheck to paycheck.
Renters.
Renters. I worked for a utility company out here in Southern California. Make pretty decent money, but as a lot of people know, California is not a cheap state to live in. It's very expensive, and we were paying like what, $2,200
At the time.
at the time, like $2,200 for a rent for a 2-bedroom apartment. And my question all the time was, where's my money? Where's my money? Like, where's all my money going? Because I make decent money, and me and my wife had agreed for her to stay home to homeschool her kids, so she wasn't working. So I was able to support her family, but at the same time, it's like, where's all my money going? Groceries, everything. And so that was like always a lingering thing in the back of my mind. So 2020 happened, pandemic happened. I was able to take some time off of work because at that time nobody knew what was going on. So our job was like, if you want to take some time, if anybody has any underlying conditions, you can stay home for safety reasons. My mother-in-law would live with us. We all have like asthma and respiratory problems. So I was like, okay, I'll stay home, which in a way was a blessing because, as I had mentioned before, my dad had just passed away. So now my dad has this house and all these things that we need to take care of. So that allowed me to take care of like my dad's home, clean it out, take care of whatever financial issues he still had pending and whatnot. And it was a rough time for us, spiritually, physically, mentally. It was just a wear on us. And then it's kind of, I'm going to get a little personal here. It started kind of affecting our marriage a little bit.
Yep.
So we were kind of in a rough spot. But now we have this house that's mine now. But we had to go through all the legal proceedings because my dad didn't have a living trust. He didn't have a will. So we had to go through the probate. And that was a hassle. So we were kind of trying to figure things out. Like, where do we go from here? I didn't want to work until I'm 70. So we had those types of discussions. That was just something that we've always talked about.
Yeah, but also when we were going through, the rough spots with his dad, we started looking into his house, like maybe we could refinance his house and have him move in with us. So we started looking to real estate for personal reasons. And with that, the first thing I realized, the tax benefits to not get out of the house, because we thought, let's sell the house and buy a different house. So we're like, oh no, that would be like foolish to do, let's try to have him refi. So I started looking to that. So after he passed away, I started looking into more of it because we inherited the house, even though the road was long until the probate was done. But at the beginning, I started like, okay, let me look into this a little further because this house has so much equity.
Yeah, it was almost paid off. And then we were grandfathered into my dad's mortgage, which was around $730 a month.
Yeah.
Well, on top of that, you have the 1030, it's in California, Proposition 13, that the tax base gets transferred, which is amazing. That's still the low tax rate. So good
Yeah.
for you on that. And I want to pause for a quick second and share that honestly, I really want you to invest in real estate. My new goal in my life, my first goal was to quit my job in 10 years, and I did that, accomplished that at 37. Now my new goal is to help 1 million people invest in real estate. So 2 things I would ask from you. Number 1, if you get anything out of this episode, please share it with somebody else. Just say, hey, check out Dustin and Master Passive Income. He really wants to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to get you to invest in real estate. Get my real estate investing course absolutely for free. Text the word rental, RENTAL, to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll literally give you my course, show you how to find an area of the country to invest, how to build the business first. I always talk about that, and how to find the right properties, how to make sure you're getting experts to do the work for you, and scale the business to where you're making $250 or more in passive income. Scale it to quit your job. I'll literally get to you, or go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. Obviously, it'll be in the description, but I really, really want you to invest in real estate, because the more that actual normal everyday people own real estate that are good landlords, the better everybody's life gets.
Yeah, so we went from paying $2,200 a month to only $730. So I'm like, oh, there's my paycheck. So it was pretty cool. So so let's kind of fast forward a little bit. So we ended up keeping the house. And then Roberta started doing some digging. So around July, she found you, and she started, and kind of doing her research, and she kind of showed me.
Yeah, I found your, like, one of your first videos that you had, like the free courses. I think it was like 2 videos. And I was like, this is amazing. It's like I found a treasure or something. I was like, Shawnee, check this out.
So like she would tell me as I'd go to work, and then I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And fast forward a little bit more, she got in contact with you, and then she set up like a one-on-one, I guess, like an introductory meeting with you. And I kind of caught the tail end of that when I was at work. I think I was on my lunch break, and I kind of talked to you briefly for a little bit. And then I guess from there, we just started doing more research into what real estate investing was all about. I was still kind of skeptic about it. I was like, how do you buy a house in another state where you don't live?
Yeah. Because we're like, there's no way we're going to buy anything in California. So we're going to get ready to invest out of state.
And I've heard and seen people do it, but I'm like, that's crazy. Like, how do you do that? You're not even there. You're not even there at the property. Like, how does this work?
Yeah.
But yeah, she kind of introduced me to your program, and we started watching some videos, and the skepticism was still there. I was still a little, like, I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on this. I'm just scared. Like, what if this doesn't work? Because now I think, did the money come through already or no?
No, it took like a year.
No, it didn't.
Like attending to the, but I just want to say, like, our first meeting with you, Dustin, I was just so blown away, because I really saw that you truly cared for your students. Because I think you're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna let you be part of my program if you don't have your life together, pretty much. And I really appreciate that, and that's something I would carry over. Like, as if people come to us in the future to ask for any advice for anything, like, I want to make sure that they, their stuff is in place. And that time was such a blessing too. Like, even though we had to wait so long for the probate to go through, then the refi, it was just like so much time went by. But we were able to work in our spiritual walk and our marriage. And by the time that we were ready, it was so sweet.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah, it was the perfect timing. Yeah.
Praise the Lord. And I remember having to really say, well, you guys aren't ready. It's never easy to say that, but at the same time, you guys took action too. I gave you guys, okay, let's start. These are some things that you need to do in your life to get it to where you can invest. You guys really just worked hard. And that's what I was really impressed at, how hard you guys both worked at it. And then with that, you joined the Real Estate Wealth Builders membership that we have. And so that membership helped you be around other people that encourage you and everything. And then having you guys be a part of that, and then coming to REWBCON as well, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. That was so fun, getting to hang out with you guys in person. So getting that first property, was it after REWBCON? Was it before REWBCON? I can't really remember exactly the timeline.
It was right after.
Right after. We were waiting for REWBCON. I was like, okay, let's go to REWBCON and kind of check out the other speakers and see if we're led any other direction, So Yeah, but we were ready, but we're waiting.
And that's
Yeah.
what did it for me after being there and meeting you guys in person and just seeing all the speaker. I was like, I'm in, I'm sold. And then a motivation for me is like, I can actually have a means to quit my job. And as I'm looking at your shirt, we actually have 2 of those shirts, but I can't wear it yet because we're not there yet. I'm waiting to put it
The
on.
successfully unemployed shirts, absolutely.
Yes, I'm waiting to put it on, but I'm like, this is doable. And it made me want to like buy like 10 properties in 1 month. I just like, I want to do that. I want to do it, you know? But
When you're getting around other people that have done it before, and as well as that are genuine, that's what I loved about the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. I brought my friends, all of the expert friends, and curated them. Basically, there are some people I didn't invite, but there are lots of people that I did, as far as being speakers, bringing us all together, just really seeing what's out there, that it's possible, that there's more than just one way, but at the same time, you need to be around a group of, or a community, or you need to have people around you that's going to encourage you to build you up, because doing it alone, like I did it alone, and it was tough. It was really, really hard, but I have that personality. I have a driven personality. I just don't give up. That's just how I am, man. I'm so glad now that we have something like this. Now, talk to us about right after you got getting out of Rubicon, you get all excited. You guys took action right away. Sometimes you go to a conference or you go to a retreat or something. You're all pumped up for the next 2 or 3 days, and it kind of like life starts getting back into a swing of things, and life gets in the way. So, but you guys took action. You guys got your first property. Talk to us about that.
yeah, I think we got our first property like a month or so after.
Yeah.
It was about a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got our second one like 2 months after that, I think.
Yeah.
And one amazing
July.
July.
Yeah. One amazing thing is also you were utilizing the home equity that you have in that property, but we don't just take it out to buy a car. I mean, that'd be wasting money. You're paying interest on it. What we do,
talked about that, yeah. I wanted to,
we
because a lot
take
of
that
people
money
will
to build a business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And we prayed about it too. We were like, we've never had this much money in our hands before.
Yeah,
and
it
it's
was
like, what do
scary.
we do? Like, I want to do the right thing. You know, I don't want to just spend it frivolously on, like you said, like a new car, even though I wanted a new car, because we did need a new car.
Yeah.
And we
I
ended up
remember
put it
talking about that with you guys.
putting it off. But
Yeah.
it's like, what do? We want to, you know, be responsible and good stewards of what we're given. And so we're like, yeah, let's, you know, look at property and be wise about it, you know, and take all your advice. And
I remember you have a video that says like, if you want to buy a new car, buy a property that will pay for the car payment.
yeah, exactly.
I was like, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Let the
Absolutely,
property-
because you start making that money that comes in every single month, you can get a lease or buy a car with a mortgage a car note on it, and use that money from that property to pay off that car note. It's such a great way to do it. Now, you guys went from one property quickly to the second one. That's what I love seeing. Like all of my students, usually once that first property comes, it's like the dam broke, and then everything else is like, my goodness, how do I get more?
Yes.
Exactly. It's like it's
exciting.
like a high almost. It's like I want more. Like, because then I realized like this isn't hard. This isn't foreign. This isn't just for wealthy people or bankers or whoever. This is fair game. Anybody can do this.
So talk to us about that first property. You mind sharing where it's located and what type of passive income that you're getting on that property?
It was we paid cash out for it, so we bought it, you know, straight out, no mortgage.
Yeah. It was cash.
How much was it? It was about.
It was $52,600. You were the one who said like give them the weird numbers.
And it had
Well,
renters.
because you guys captured equity. You guys bought it for lower than it's worth.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
had renters in it already, which made it a little easier too.
Yeah, so we didn't have to deal with, like setting up the property, which is like, okay, great, but I do want the experience too.
Experience of
doing
doing it too.
So,
So before our first property, it was kind of, you know, not an easy one, but it was just, we didn't have to go through some of those hurdles of trying to find renters and whatnot. So that made it easier for us.
Yeah, and there were
So-
some nuances in that, like in the coaching, we're trying to help you guys in getting that property with a tenant in there, making sure you get the security deposit, making sure when you close that you're closing where you have a lot more month where you get prorated rents from the seller. There's so many little nuances, but you guys navigated that really, really well. What city is that in?
That's in Canton, right? Canton,
Mhm.
Ohio, which isn't too far from the Hall of Fame. I think it's maybe about 15, 20
the
minutes.
Football Hall of Fame.
Football Hall of
yeah.
Fame that they just
Yeah.
built.
Yeah.
So it's a good area.
Are you guys planning on refinancing and pulling that cash out, or what are you guys planning on doing with that one?
Yeah, that's the plan now.
We're in the process of that right now because now we're starting to get to the place where, you know, the cash is getting squeezed. So we have to start refinancing and put it into another property. So for our third one, for sure, we're going to refi it. We're already in the process.
And it feels good not owning a mortgage on it, but then it's just like, well, there's just money sitting there that we could use.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not use that,
Mhm.
you know, equity and get more property?
And make more money from the next property. 100%. That's how I literally built my business, was recycling that money by refinancing it, cash out, and doing a home equity line of credit, like doing so many things to keep getting that money back to then buy the next property, which is terrific. Now, from that, you also got, so this was a long-term, you also have a short-term property, which we love here at Master Passive Income. We love buy and hold. We buy and hold the properties for a long time. Now, they could be long-term tenants, mid-term, like traveling nurses, CEOs, and stuff like that, but also short-term, like Airbnb. Talk to us about the Airbnb property, because that, you guys even flew out there. You guys made sure it was all staged right and everything, and you're getting your super host now, which is awesome. But talk to us about that.
Yes, we are. Super host. Yeah, so, you know, like any story, I mean, I'm not going to paint a perfect, pretty picture because there was some drama with this one, which, you know, people will run into issues. So hopefully our experience can be someone else's learning experience. So, so this Airbnb we bought, and it's right on the lake, Portage Lakes in New Franklin, which is, I guess,
Borderline with Akron.
Akron?
Yeah. So it's all in the same
really
area.
nice area.
Akron.
So it's like 3 houses from the lakefront, which is really nice. So we looked into some contractors and some painters,
Mhm.
and it was just kind of a nightmare because we didn't do our due diligence in a sense.
The lesson learned here was not to rush, because it was like I wanted this staged right before our first mortgage, you know, check is, you know, we have to pay for it. So it's like trying to, you know, save like $1,000,
squeeze it in a short amount of time.
We went to people that we shouldn't have hired, and so it's like, you know what, it's okay next time. And then Sean was like, oh man, this is like a trip. And I was like, I'm ready to do it again because now mistakes, we're not gonna make the same mistakes again, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, so we kind of ran into some issues, and then we had some other expenses that we didn't know that were going to happen. So we ended up paying a lot more than we wanted to. So this almost, I mean, it basically turned into a rehab, this home. So that being said, it turned out beautiful now. I mean, you know, so we got, I think, a lot of our money back already.
So with that, the first property, how much do you make in passive income from the first property being long-term, and then the short-term property? You mind sharing us both on those?
Sure.
No, not at all. The first one, because it's like all paid for. I mean, property taxes in Canton at $300 a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, when I started looking at stuff like that, and you see 5,000, 7,000 here in California.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it's 300 a month. You know, like I'm thinking it's like a year. So it's like, to me, like that was like what's it called? The slum dunk.
Yeah, and a lot of people, our friends, are like, why are you guys picking Ohio? Like, why Ohio? And then we tell them why. Well, because 1, the houses are cheaper. 2, the property taxes are cheaper. And 3, they're owner friendly when it comes to, you know,
landlord laws. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, if we need to, you know, not that we want to kick somebody out, but if there's issues with a tenant, you know, the laws.
You have rights too as a landlord.
Yeah.
But that one, it's about 700 cash flow because we have so little expenses with that one. The second one, right now, I would say we're about $1,000 cash flow, but because it's the low season. And, you know, like, for example, in December, it's going to be super low season. Like, it was like our busiest
season.
Like, we made more than $4,000 in 1 month, you know, just in December alone. And so I was like, well, okay, I can't wait to see what July is going to bring.
Summer's going to be, especially with preseason football, because
it's going to be great.
When we were there in August, they actually had a preseason game there, which my team, the Raiders, were actually playing at the Hall of Fame. So we know it's going to bring in customers.
They have.
Plus, they have like the strongman Challenge, I think, something
Oh,
like that out there.
yes. Yep.
Tough Man. They have a lot of
And
things going on.
yeah, for short-term properties, you don't need to be in Hawaii or like some fancy resorts. No,
Exactly.
it's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. RubeCon was again because we went there and we attended Kirby Atwell's. I think he was recently on your show.
Yep.
His
Presentation.
his presentation and just blew my mind. Just to think that little workman areas, where you make like $100 to $200 a night, on an Airbnb gives you so much more return on your investment than if you were to buy like $1 million piece. Yeah,
Absolutely.
And the people, the people that want to stay there are like people who are in town for like family, family things. What was the other one? A wedding,
funerals,
So
everything family related, or sometimes they have like, they don't want to be out into somebody's house, like, so they want their privacy.
Yeah, so they're close to family. So instead of staying at their families, they rent our place. And
you're not getting like college kids that are coming and just trashing the place, hopefully, and you're more families.
Right.
We love at long-term properties to have families, and if you could do that for short-term properties as too, you get them hopefully a little more respectful.
Yeah, the property came with a bar. So I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna, advertise this as an actual bar.
Yeah, we're not gonna cater to that crowd. So we turned into a coffee and tea bar.
Yes. Hot cocoa.
Very smart.
Yeah. So we provide that for our guests. So we have, when they get there, they got like the whole coffee section and tea section,
and
I love
it. The plight that we had to go through, something beautiful happened because we met so many great people. Now we have people there. There are our eyes, our feet, and we can really trust them. And we're so glad to have them.
So it was a blessing in disguise too.
Yeah.
And well, you built the business first. Like you now obviously there's little bumps along the way, but you built the business and then now it's able to run itself. Now with that long-term property too, imagine that's $700 a month in passive income. That's a lot of money. That's $8,400 a year. That's $8,400 a year. Now imagine buying a house for $50,000 and getting $84,000 every single year. I mean, shoot, in 6 years, it's going to be all your money back in your pocket. Now, if we pull the cash out, now we don't necessarily want to do that. Now, if you can, but why not pull the cash out, still make passive income, but then buy the next property that can make money for you as well. So we just keep recycling back over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
It's the plan. So we're like hot for our next property right now. We wanted to get another one before 2022 ended, but we didn't want to rush it either. But I was like, man,
to try to make it happen. Just because we want to get one more under our belt.
Because we want to be wise. Our goal was to get 3, but we got 2, and that's perfectly fine.
But our years now measured from RubeCon to RubeCon, so we don't basically.
So you definitely have time. Yeah,
you got time, exactly.
So what is another lesson learned? Like, is there anything else that you'd like to share for us, just regular people? We're trying to do this just like you. Any other tips that you could share that we would be able to learn from?
Well, it is a mindset shift because, we live in a society where it's like we need to save money and we don't want to spend it, or we want to be extra cautious and careful. But the system proves itself and it works. And then, as we were saying about keeping the money and the equity in our first long term, is like, why leave it there? Because I have the mindset like, it feels great not to have a mortgage. Like, let's just leave the money and just collect the rent. But it's like, that's just like free money just sitting there that we could use and invest somewhere. So it's like a different mindset shift that we have to like learn and, kind of get out of the old way of thinking. So that was one thing that I've learned, is to have a totally different mind shift and think like an investor, think like an entrepreneur, think like a business person instead of a consumer.
Yeah, a problem solver, right? Like we always talk about that in our community. Like, this is not just like it's a problem that we have to solve. So we just try to
There's a
jump through the
solution.
door.
We just got to find it. And there's
Yeah.
a solution out there.
100%. What I'm telling my kids, there's a number of things that, we homeschool too. So I love that you guys homeschool. We made the sacrifice from the very beginning as best as we could to homeschool. So our kids have never been in the school. And so one thing I'm teaching the kids on top of homeschooling is a lot of life lessons as well. And so my kids, if I ask them, or not ask them, but I tell them to do something, and my kids do this. And, well, Daddy, I don't know how. And I say, well, you figure it out. And they said, but I don't know how. I said, hey, you're a Heiner. Heiners figure things out. Get in there and figure it out. So I give them the license. But the problems are going to come.
Yeah. Yeah. And not to get overwhelmed, not to get scared, or not to give up when you hit those problems. And
have a community around
Yeah.
you,
Because I was-
of
'cause-
like-minded people.
because I was kind of like that when we hit those problems for Airbnb and all the things that were going wrong. I was like so distraught and just like, man, I don't want to do this.
Mm.
Like, but my wife being my backbone, she no, we're gonna, being
To me,
the
there's, like,
motivator,
yeah.
and she kind of got me out of my stump, out of my stupor, and I was like, let's get back on track, let's make this work. And
Because
while
I
we
remember
were-
that.
Mhm.
Go
While we
ahead.
were there in Ohio, going through all of this, there was a moment that we were at this hotel and I opened Zillow and I looked at our first property for some reason and I saw that that we had accumulated already $20,000 in equity in that house.
for our first one, right?
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
that's exactly when my mind shifted because it was like we're bleeding money at this
Yeah.
point, right? So I was like, see, this is the payoff. This is what we have to look forward. Like last case scenario, like that's why I love real estate. There's so many way outs, exit strategies, and like last case scenario, we just sell this property, and we
just flipped it. That's what I
So-
told her. I go, yeah, if anything, we'll just flip this house and sell it and get more of our money back. So
I
Yeah,
love it. Now,
so-
I know, Roberta, you were more like you were the gung ho ones. Like, we're doing it. And Sean, you were definitely dragging your feet. Like, you were reluctant to come along. And so, talk to us about Roberta and Sean, the dynamic of Roberta, you trying to help Sean to be able to realize, hey, this is something we can do. And then, Sean, you realizing to buy in. So, Roberta, what was it like trying to get him to actually invest?
Well, she was persistent, but she wasn't like pushing me. Like she was lovingly, but she wasn't like, we're gonna do this. Like it wasn't like forceful, but she did it in a loving way, And it's like, and then, like, let's take this to the Lord. Let's pray about this. Let's be wise about this.
Yeah.
Just watching more of your videos, like
Information, getting
informa-
informed, and the numbers.
it's
showing
like
the
this can
numbers.
work. The foundation's been laid. We're just basically trusting in what you've done in your experience in your program, because you've gone through it all, and it was just a matter of trusting the system and how it works.
And our why, of course,
Yeah.
right? Like the reasons why we're doing this in the first place. Like our
That too.
dream is to replace his income so we can be in full-time ministry, being biblical counseling or doing missions or whatever it
Missions.
is. So we want a freedom of time. If it's the Lord's will, if
Yeah.
it's not, we're just happy with those 2 properties. It's
Yeah.
okay. We're thankful. But that's what we're working towards.
to
Yeah.
be successfully unemployed, so I can spend more time at home with my kids and family and help out with the homeschooling, get more involved with my kids, get more involved with the
Mhm.
community. Like one of the things that I could tell friends and families, like any job, it's like they kind of dictate your life in a sense where it's like, well, you can take vacation if it's available, or you have to work this weekend. And it's like, well, I had plans this weekend. Well, this person called out, so now you have to work. So it's like they're kind of dictating my life, and it's like I don't really want this anymore for my life. And I mean, I'm thankful for a job and it's providing for my family, but
And
it's
it's
like
providing for
And it's
us
also
to get
providing
the
for the properties.
because we're qualifying because of his job.
so now
Oh,
we're
yeah.
looking at now we're looking at my vacation times too in a different way. Like, okay, do we take a vacation, or do we take my vacation and use some of these days to go out and fly back to Ohio and to use it for businesses, purposes? So that's where we're different
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
Mind shift.
And it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Like our marriage is so much better for it because like when we sit down the other day, we had our first meeting for our LLC and we did the minutes and everything.
Yeah.
And it was just like so much
was
fun.
fun.
You know, it's like we get to do this
Because
together.
we're doing it together as a family, and then we're getting our kids involved, and they're going to be coming to RubeCon again with us, and like, because this is for them, you know, after we leave, we're building a legacy, and we want our kids to be a part of it, because this is going to be theirs.
You're 100% right. And you guys have my 100% permission to utilize, give them your access to codes, to all that sort of stuff, everything that we have at Master Passive Income. I want to see generational wealth from all of us, because as we grow, I mean, the whole goal is to eventually become financially independent, with that getting our time back, because that's the one thing we spend and never get any more of. And praise the Lord, you guys are using this hopefully to be able to do ministry for the Lord. I mean, how much, imagine, Sean, having 40, 50, 60 plus hours of your life back, not working for somebody else, and then being able to devote it to the Lord. So it is such a blessing. You guys, there's so much more we could definitely talk about. We're out of time. I am so excited that you guys are going to be at RubeCon as well. And so we'll be there. We'll be hanging out. We'll be bringing my kids. You'll be bringing our kids. My kids definitely didn't get to play with as many kids as they wanted to. So this year they're going to be more moving around, trying to, hang out with other kids and stuff like that. So it's going to be great having you guys there.
It's a family. It's just like that. We feel like, it's a family reunion, and we're going to look forward to it every year, and just imagine like 10 years from now, the 10th RubeCon, oh my goodness.
I agree. And I'm praying, Lord willing, we're going to have many successfully unemployed people coming out of RubeCon. Like, that's the end goal, is for people to have their goals met. So, man, Sean and Roberta, it's been fantastic talking to you guys. I love being able to work with you guys, and I love working with Christ followers as well. I mean, I love working with everybody, but being able to bless Christ followers, in praying together and being together, it's just a blessing. So it's so good with being with you guys.
I appreciate.
Thank you so much for all you're doing.
Yes, we're so blessed.
Cannot thank you enough. I just like post things and I mark it, like, Justin Heiner, because it's like it's all first to God, but it wasn't for you
and all your hard work and dedication too. I just appreciate your time. It's very valuable, and we appreciate it.
And your wife too. Awesome. I gotta thank her, because she's the one behind it too.
She is the best. I have the easy job of making money. She's got the hard job of homeschooling the kids and keeping the house straight. Like, she does everything. So, but yes, thank you very much. I'll let her know, Roberta, and it'll be great for you guys to hang out again and everybody see each other again.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Justin.
All right, guys. And that is it for today. Go ahead and get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777. RENTAL to 33777. You can also join my Real Estate Wealth Builders group coaching. Get all my courses. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next show. See ya.